Derelict Bicycles has 90 poems spread over 92 pages. That's basically one poem per page, and you can see it in the table of contents. 42, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Each poem feels like both a polished nugget of wordsmithery and a Springfield interchange of twists and turns. Before you can get comfy with a phrase, settling into it like a lazy boy recliner, something catches you off guard, the back massage buzzes into high gear, or the footrest springs out and scares your cat.
Don't worry, the book's not gonna scare you.
I have never done jiu-jitsu, but if I did, the experience of being thrown over my head would immediately remind me of this book. Tracy is a black belt, leans in one direction as her foot slips beneath your body on the floor again. The second poem of the collection, The Frank Pledge, begins, "I read like a powerless god," a line whose humility staggers you to your knees, followed up with, "So how could I write like a person?" What symmetry between reading and writing, God and person. I read like a powerless god, so how could I write like a person? Here are 5 things you ought to know about Derelict Bicycles. First, Tracy invents words. When the English dictionary falls short, we have no choice but to invent words. Shakespeare knew about 20,000 words, far fewer words than most of us know today, and he invented 1,700 of them. So technically he invented about 10% of his own vocabulary. In any case, Dale Tracy does invention. Here are some words that stood out. Aliener. I've learned to not see my eyelids, aliener than the head's back, touching what nothing else does. Normally we'd say more alien, so aliener is more alien to our refined grammatical sensibilities. Againward. Againward, I raise myself by grasping. As if launched into the abstract realm where second tries are born, we go againward. Into, as a verb. A little hill into's ground. We could say that you dig into the poem to uncover its treasures, or you into the poem, the preposition turned verb, the mind into's wordplay. Weirdom, as in the title, In the Weirdom. There are kingdoms where kings rule, and weirdoms where weirdness reigns supreme. To some degree, Derelict Bicycles is itself a weirdom. Purposeful and playful repetition. When it comes to repetition, Tracy is careful to avoid redundancy. A word takes on a new role in its reiteration. Often you'll see this at the end of a poem to wrap things up in a satisfying bow. Some think we live a secret game, smart others made. But aren't we smart strangers who ourselves like games? I know just how I'll walk tomorrow. Imagine the buried past knowing that. The air is gone wrong, and then it's gone. I chuckled when I noticed the 2 poems titled Recurring, one next to the other. Animal, nature, body motifs. If you like soil, worms, flowers, trees, the sky, the day-night cycle, and animals like foxes, wolves, deer, and the human body, organs like the pancreas, lungs, hearts, fingerprints, teeth, both human and mechanical, and eye, well, if you like those things, good for you. These images appear throughout the collection, configured and reconfigured, combined and recombined, charged with significance. When the sky opens its mouth, open your arms. When your fists hit molars, open your motif to the sky's making rain, because to blow out the door is to make chase with your body shed into fishing line. Night reveals what sky buries, stars in that soil, like the earth's one in its own loam. We beasts kick around in images rebounding, as stones and clouds reflect, overcast. And notice how Tracy uses the word motif in Falling Open and the phrase images rebounding in Replete. I like this, how she references the ingredients of her own recipes, this degree of self-awareness that adds depth to the poetry, which leads me to number 4. An early poem in the collection ends with the line, "Open the lashes around a word to let it read." I imagine the reader pulling aside the eyelashes around a word like a window's curtains to see through it as much as it wishes to see through itself. It's like what Tracy writes in A Weird Part of Whatever. It's almost like a curtain has been pulled and it's a different world. A curtain has been pulled, but I can't see the curtain. There's a relationship between words, verbs, worms, and eating. Worms move by eating. Imagine every verb arriving past your open mouth. Words eat energy to forge essences. Like worms, dirt goes in and dirt goes out. Richness. Forget what I'm reading for. I eat words. I'm reminded of John, chapter 1, verse 14. The word became flesh. A symbiosis, because for a poet, the word is sustenance. The collection ends with a poem to this effect, a comment on art. Where ends the keratin sheath? I am a truth mark of art's overreach. Can you see my spark, real and root fast? Art keeps our minds less exactly than our brains' fire, but it glints. I keep spitting it out. And finally, brainy quote, BLISS. Tracy doesn't shy away from writing the kind of line that could easily find a home on BRAINYQUOTE.com. Lines like, past will have matured when it returns, but future doesn't change when I think of it again. And nothing is everything it could be. We live in the human world. Maybe it's like that everywhere. Finally, Dale Tracy, PhD. Before reading Derelict Bicycles, I thought I'd check out Dale Tracy's With the Witnesses, her work of literary criticism. The two books are so different, I'm surprised they're written by the same person. To show you what I mean, here's a passage that struck me from With the Witnesses. If an experience of coercion, an experience not on one's own terms, becomes a disappearing past that one cannot bear witness to because remembering cannot occur outside of that coercion, then there would be no possibility of witness and testimony. It's to Tracy's credit that she is such a versatile writer, capable of switching from formal literary analysis, tackling subjects like suffering and trauma, to the whimsical, light poetry of Derelict Bicycles. And it's not just her ability to switch between styles, but her understanding of how to please and engage with such different audiences. You can find little connections between Tracy's two books. In With the Witnesses, she outlines some of her thoughts on poetry in general, and these speak to the style of Derelict Bicycles. She writes, "Poetry is, at its core, dizzying." And poems can place disparate components beside each other, holding in connection what does not necessarily belong together. In an interview on the subject of writing prompts, Rob Taylor asked Dale Tracy, "I imagine it must be tricky to move between teaching and academic writing and your own creative work. Do prompts help you make that transition?" And she replied, "My teaching, academic writing, and creative writing all send prompts to each other, so I would probably find it trickier to write in only one way." So, creative and academic writing are different beasts, each with its own food bowl and vaccine schedule. I'm curious to follow Dale Tracy's poetry, watching how it develops, changing over time. Will it merge in some way with her academic writing and vice versa, becoming a single voice in which Tracy expresses everything everywhere all at once? Maybe they've already merged, and if I reread Derelict Bicycles, I'll find those lines where the voice of literary analysis makes a cameo. Don't forget, this is all just one person's opinion on Dale Tracy's Derelict Bicycles. I hope you enjoyed my take, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below.